under gender essentialist notion, there is a direct relationship. There's a direct relationship between sex and gender. If I have a penis, if I have a penis, then my gender is I am a man. If I don't have a penis, then my gender is a female, or a woman rather. My gender is a woman, right? Now, that's basically the sort of understanding of gender essentialism. But this brings a lot of problems, right? And feminists, many different feminists have critiqued this. I myself have written on this and critiqued this conception of gender essentialism for a number of reasons. And it's important that we see why. So now that we understand that gender is socially constructed and that sex is biologically determined, we get to recognize that for the gender essentialists, the determination of an individual's gender is dependent on the correspondence between the individual's sex and thus the individual's gender, right? Where a person has a penis, he is classified as a man as far as his gender, which is socially constructed, something we'll get into in a second. If the individual does not have a penis, then she is classified as a woman. But this is a problem, right? And this is where feminists begin what I think is a very, very important move in feminist critique. Okay. Now, let's say we're going to talk about men here, and we're going to talk about women here. If I were to, just on a quick note, I'm a big-time gamer. I love playing video games, and I chose the side of Xbox. So I like Xbox better than PS3. I know that's going to get me into a lot of trouble, but I chose Xbox. Imagine that you didn't know what an Xbox was. Imagine that you've never heard the word Xbox. You have no idea of what an Xbox is. You don't have any sense of, when I use the term Xbox, what it is that I mean. You don't understand the meaning of Xbox. And imagine you came to me and you said, hey Jason, I don't know what an Xbox is. Can you tell me a little bit more about what an Xbox is? And I said to you, well, you know, an Xbox is not, it's nothing like a cup of coffee. Right? Xbox is not a cup of coffee. And you say, okay. I said, well, also Xbox is also nothing like a car tire. It's nothing like that. Okay, and it's also nothing like a hairbrush. The point is, are you any closer to understanding what something is, right? Are you any closer to understanding what something is by me defining it in terms of what it's not? Absolutely not. You're no closer to understanding what an Xbox is by me telling you it's not a car tire, it's not a coffee cup, and it's not a hairbrush. You still have no idea of what I'm talking about. You know what it's not, but you don't know what it is. Similarly, if I say that a man has a penis, and I say that a woman does not have a penis, are you any closer to understanding what a woman is? What it means to be embodied as a woman? The argument is obviously no, right? You know what she's not. You know that she doesn't have a penis, but are you any closer to understanding what a woman is? The argument is no, right? Why? Because in talking about these existential claims, the embodiment of a thing, of a being, of a person, to be technical, of one's personhood, you are no better informed as to the nature of that being, person, by defining that person in terms of what it's not, right? We know what it is. A man has a penis. A woman has no penis. I am no closer to understanding what that thing is by defining it in terms of what it's not. So that's the first critique, right? And that's a very powerful critique. Many have said this. I don't think anyone said it any clearer or better than Judith Butler personally, but many feminists have made this claim. Okay. The next thing to realize is, well, what's the next thing that they say about men? Well, they say that men are rational, right? Men use their reason and they think logically. I myself love logic. I've lectured to you guys on logic, and I happen to be a man. So there you go, proof, right? Men are logical. They like reason, they like argument, they like constructing theory and analyzing thought. Is it fair to say that all men are like that? I won't address that question yet. So men are rational, and then obviously we recognize that women are not rational, right? We say that women are not rational, right? Men have a penis, women have no penis. So women are not rational. Again, I'm attempting to define what something is by telling you what it's not, right? Women are not rational. And someone will say, well, what does that mean to say that women are not rational? I know what it means to say that men are rational, right? I know what rational argument is. I don't know what it means to say that something's not rational. You say, oh, well, women are emotional. Right? Women are emotional. Women, they are governed by their emotions, by their feelings. They're whimsical, right? They're quick to cry. They're quick to anger. They're not going to listen to logical thought. They'll let their emotions and their intuitions guide them. Obviously, these are all stereotypes that you've heard. I'm positive that this is not the first time that you're hearing this, right? Emotional women are emotional. Obviously, this is false, right? There's many women that are rational, and there's many men that are emotional, right? As human beings, we are both rational and emotional, right? There are moments at which I might have a greater proclivity to anger or to tears or to happiness or sadness, and there might be moments where I have a higher and a greater proclivity to rigorous thought and analysis, right? So the claim that women are not rational is apparently false, but in fairness to my lecture on feminism, it's important to recognize what the argument is, right? We are attempting to define the existence of this person in terms of what this thing, this person, this human is lacking, right? Just like when I said an Xbox. What is an Xbox? You don't know what it is. I say it's not a cup, it's not a car tire, it's not a hairbrush. You still have no idea of what I'm talking about, right? Well, what is it? I haven't told you that an Xbox is something that you play video games on, right? It's a system wherein you can play video games and escape from reality. I'm no closer to understanding what a woman is by telling you, well, a woman doesn't have a penis and a woman's not rational and so on. Okay, so we know that men have penises, men are rational, and then the next thing that really defines men, arguably, says this very general stereotype of male and female and men and women, is that men are public. Men are public creatures, right? Men occupy the public sphere, right? Men occupy the public sphere. Men become leaders. Men become rulers. Men govern the public sphere. In antiquity, the polis was comprised of men. Prior to women's suffrage, in first wave feminism, the power to vote for your representation, your institutional representation, was done exclusively by men, specifically free white men, and then later minorities, but still men, right? So that men are public creatures, right? We occupy the public sphere, right? Why is it that we occupy the public sphere? Because we use our reason to govern, right? We're not emotional creatures. We can regulate policy and law, and we can govern a population and protect and serve because we're rational, right? We detach ourselves from our emotion, and that helps us serve better in the public sphere. That's the argument. Of course, I don't believe this, but that's the argument.